Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. With that spring transfer portal window set to open up later next week, and you're starting to hear some big names that are expected to enter the transfer portal. And so far, Oregon State running back Damien Martinez, by far the biggest name in my mind, one of the best pure running backs that you see across the country heading into 2024, probably doesn't get the media attention that some other running backs get because he's up there in Oregon State. But you take a look at Damien Martinez, what he's done the first 2 years of his college football career, extremely impressive. Really just broke out as a true freshman. But you go back to 2023, I mean, a large part of why Oregon State had such a phenomenal year last season, a guy that ran for over 1,100 yards, 6.1 yards per carry. But the number that you really want to circle is 3.8 yards after contact. This is one of the more physical running backs that you'll see in all of college football. Want to dive into some of the best fits for Damien Martinez and some obvious landing spots right off the rip. Extremely excited to get into it. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. And it is about to be an extremely busy next couple of weeks for us college football fans. We'll be breaking down a lot of these transfer portal commitments. Cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have shown the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll be sure to keep you guys as updated as possible with the chaos that really is about to ensue in the college football landscape. And furthermore, would love to hear from you guys and some potential landing spots for Damien Martinez. We'll chop it up in the comment section. But without further ado, I want to give you guys some of my programs that I think will go after Damien Martinez, but more importantly, I think would be really good fits. And I think you have to start with Michigan State. Obviously, Jonathan Smith taking over. Coach Damien Martinez recruited him to Corvallis. I think this is a really good fit. I think it makes a lot of sense. You saw Jonathan Smith take a lot of Oregon State's top talent, bring him to East Lansing. Aiden Childs kind of headlining that group. Now, you look at Jonathan Smith, what he wants to do on the offensive side of the football. For those who followed Oregon State the last couple of years, there was not really much of a secret. This was a ground and pound team that wanted to establish the line of scrimmage and run the football. And you look at the fit, and I don't think there's a better running back fit for that Jonathan Smith offense than a guy like Damien Martinez, who is a true bell cow, a guy that you can give 25 plus carries a game and really wear out teams. That's the culture. That's the offense that Jonathan Smith wants to put together in East Lansing. And Damien Martinez would play a massive role in kind of getting Jonathan Smith off to a good start in East Lansing. It's already a team that I'm extremely excited about, but you add Damien Martinez and Aiden Childs into that backfield, you're looking at a team that can be very dangerous in the Big Ten immediately for Jonathan Smith. And no doubt there will be some contact made from Jonathan Smith to Damien Martinez. That's probably the first fit that I think a lot of college football fans go to. Obviously would be massive for Michigan State. Now, the next program I want to talk about, and a team that we've talked about a lot in terms of being potentially in the running back market, that's the Miami Hurricanes, right? Henry Parrish expected to enter the transfer portal. You're looking at a Hurricanes running back room that is extremely talented. We've talked at length about how talented that running back room is. But if Mark Fletcher still has some injury concerns and you're looking to add a physical running back that kind of can replace Mark Fletcher, if you're concerned about some of those injuries, I mean, you look at Damien Martinez, that's a perfect fit. You look at Mario Cristobal, what he wants to do on the offensive side of the football, establish the line of scrimmage. He's recruited that position extremely well. It appears to be one of the best offensive lines in the country. I mean, Damien Martinez is going to want to go to an offense that he knows he can be extremely productive in. That Miami Hurricanes offense, with maybe just a little bit of inexperience in that running back room, if Mark Fletcher is not healthy, I think would warmly welcome a veteran running back that can be a bell cow in that Hurricanes offense. And you look at some of the other running backs on that roster, a guy like Chris Johnson would really spell Damien Martinez extremely well. I think Miami, we've mentioned them as a team that I think season opening in 2024 to be an extremely dangerous team. They're going to get aggressive in the transfer portal to make this team as good as it can be in 2024. A guy like Damien Martinez certainly would make that team very good or add to how good that team can be in that 2024 year. Another team that I think wants to add a premier running back, but more importantly, some running back depth is the LSU Tigers. And again, you talk about offenses that Damien Martinez is going to be interested in going to. I mean, for my money, LSU probably has the best offensive line heading into 2024. It hurts me as a Michigan fan to say that, but you look at what LSU has on that offensive line, it's going to be absolutely elite. You trust that LSU offense is still going to be very good, even without Jaden Daniels. And you look at the LSU running back room, a running back room that, I mean, I love Caleb Jackson. I've been very vocal that I think he's going to be a stud as a sophomore. But you look at that LSU running back room and the depth isn't quite there. And so not only do you have the opportunity to certainly add some depth to that LSU running back room, more importantly, you get a chance to add an elite running back that is going to be running behind an offensive line that is going to be dominant. And we've heard coming out of spring practice, LSU going to have to change up how they're running the football without a guy like Jaden Daniels being that quarterback one. Damien Martinez is a guy that is going to allow LSU to run the football extremely effectively if he winds up in Baton Rouge. I think that one would make a lot of sense. Now, a couple other names that I'm going to throw out real quickly. The Oregon Ducks have showed not to be shy in the transfer portal, and really just any opportunity they have to make that roster better, they're certainly going to do so. It's a very easy transition for a guy like Damien Martinez. Now, you look at that Oregon running back room, Jordan James, Noah Whittington, you don't have many concerns about what that running back room is, but we've talked about it with Dan Lanning. He added a ton of cornerbacks when we thought maybe he doesn't even need to add any cornerbacks. Dan Lanning is obsessed with maximizing that roster. And if he sees an opportunity to make his roster better, he could have the best wide receiver room in the country. He's going to add a wide receiver. He could have the best running back room in the country. Dan Lanning is going to look to make that running back room better. There's no doubt in my mind Dan Lanning makes some contact with Damien Martinez. And I think the last one you want to talk about here is Texas. And running backs coach Tashard Choice recruited Damien Martinez extremely hard during his time at Georgia Tech. You look at where Damien Martinez is from, the state of Texas. They didn't get an offer from Texas coming out of high school. Texas certainly going to be interested in Damien Martinez now. And you look at that running back room, you lose a guy like Jonathan Brooks, and Jonathan Brooks was one of the best running backs in the country for my money last year. You have a good room, right? CJ Baxter going to be extremely special. But if you're a Texas fan, that offensive line going to be very good. If you have CJ Baxter, Damien Martinez as kind of that two-headed monster going into 2024, that is going to be one of the tougher run games to deal with across the country. And we've seen Coach Sark, again, another program that is not afraid to add guys in the transfer portal. Damien Martinez, obviously they just landed wide receiver Silas Bolden. That just popped into my head. That would make a lot of sense as well. Plethora of other teams that Damien Martinez would make a lot of sense for. Again, this is a guy that I can't think of many running back rooms that wouldn't be upgraded by adding a guy like Damien Martinez in. We'll see how it shakes out. We'll continue to talk about some teams that get into the mix, but I wanted to hop on, just talk about some landing spots that for me would make a lot of sense for Damien Martinez. Would love to hear some input in the comment section. No doubt my list, not exhaustive. There's a lot of programs that'll be going after Damien Martinez. Let me know in the comment section what you guys are thinking. Appreciate y'all rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.